All right, today we're going to dive into a feeling we're all taught to hide away, right? Vulnerability. We're breaking down Brené Brown's incredible book, Daring Greatly, to figure out why this thing we run from might just be our biggest superpower.
So, let's just cut straight to the chase with the big question, the one we've basically been programmed to answer with a yes our entire lives. Is vulnerability a weakness?
Well, Daring Greatly takes that old idea and just throws it right out the window. Brené Brown's whole point is that vulnerability is not weakness. No way. In fact, she says it's the birthplace of courage, of love, of belonging. All the stuff that actually makes life meaningful.
Okay, so if it's not weakness, then what is it? Let's get a really clear handle on what we're talking about here.
You know that feeling, that knot in your stomach right before you do something scary, something where you put your heart on the line? That's vulnerability. It's all about emotional risk, uncertainty, and just putting yourself out there when you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen next.
And look, this isn't some high-level philosophical thing. It happens to us every single day. Think about it. Saying I love you first, raising your hand at work with a brand new idea, speaking up when everyone else is silent, or, and this is a big one, just admitting you need help. Every single one of those is a moment of daring greatly.
Now, because feeling that way is, well, it's really uncomfortable, right? Our first instinct, our gut reaction is to protect ourselves. We build up these walls, and Brené Brown has a perfect name for it, emotional armor. And we put so much effort into this. We spend our lives trying to dodge that feeling of being exposed, putting on this armor because we think it's going to save us from getting hurt, from being judged, or from failing. And I bet some of these types of armor are going to sound pretty familiar. First up, you've got perfectionism, that little voice that says, if I'm perfect, no one can ever criticize me. Then there's numbing, scrolling on your phone, working too much, anything to just not feel. And then there's the big one, isolation. That whole, I don't need anyone, I can do this all on my own thing. But here's the catch, and this is so important. That armor, it doesn't actually protect us. It's a total illusion. All it really does is cut us off from real connection, from real joy. It just keeps us trapped and alone. So, what's driving all this armor wearing? A huge part of it is shame. And it is so important to know the difference between shame and guilt. Guilt is, I did something bad. It's about your behavior. But shame is, I am bad. It attacks who you are, making you feel like you're not even worthy of love or belonging. Okay, so our fear, our shame, our armor, it's all propped up by these big, powerful myths we're told about vulnerability. So you know what? Let's bust some of those myths right now. All right, myth number one, the big one we already touched on, that vulnerability is weakness. This is the idea that if you open up, you're just fragile and easy to break. But the reality, it's the complete opposite. You literally cannot have courage without vulnerability. I mean, think about it for a second. Can you name one single act of bravery that didn't involve risk, uncertainty, and emotional exposure? No way. That is vulnerability. Okay, myth number two. This is that whole I don't do vulnerability idea. Like it's something you can just decide to opt out of, that you're somehow immune to it. Yeah, here's the thing. Life doesn't work like that. To be alive is to be vulnerable. It's totally unavoidable in anything that matters, in love, in creativity, in growth. When you try to opt out of vulnerability, you're not just opting out of a feeling, you're opting out of life. So, if we're supposed to put down all that armor and actually lean into vulnerability, what does that even look like? What's the goal here? Well, Brené Brown calls it wholehearted living. And wholehearted living is this huge mental shift. It's about showing up in the world from a place of worthiness. It's about waking up in the morning and truly believing, deep down, I am enough. It's going from, oh my God, what will everyone think of me, to a quiet, confident, you know what, I am enough. And you can see this in action everywhere. Think about a leader at work, the one who says, I messed up, or I don't know the answer. That's the person who builds real trust. Or in parenting, when parents are okay with not being perfect, they raise kids who know it's okay to try and fail, kids who are way more resilient. Okay, so how do we actually start daring greatly? Here are a few concrete things you can do. 1, practice gratitude. It rewires your brain for joy. 2, set boundaries, because they're a sign of self-respect. 3, talk about your shame.
When you speak it to someone you trust, it loses its power. And maybe the biggest one of all, just let yourself be seen. For real.
Which brings us to the core metaphor of this whole idea, the one that gives the book its name. It's all about stepping into the arena. The title Daring Greatly comes from this amazing quote by Theodore Roosevelt, and it gets right to the heart of everything. It says that the credit doesn't go to the person in the stands criticizing. The credit belongs to the person who's actually in the arena, the one who's covered in sweat and dust, who makes mistakes, but who, even if they fail, at least fails while daring greatly. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? A meaningful life, a wholehearted life, it isn't about playing it safe on the sidelines. It's about having the guts to step into that arena, show up, and let yourself be seen, no matter what. So I'll leave you with this question. In your own life, at work, with your family, with your dreams, where is your arena? Where are you going to choose to dare greatly?